All right, so today we're taking a deep dive into something pretty wild. MrBeast's YouTube video, Beat Ronaldo, win $1,000,000.
MrBeast. Always pushing the boundaries.
Right. But we're not just going to rehash the whole thing. We're going to look at the psychology behind it all, the social kind of implications of this whole concept.
Yeah, I mean, it's genius on so many levels.
Okay, so the basic premise, right, is that you have these everyday ordinary people.
Average Joes.
Yeah, exactly. And they're going up against these world-class athletes.
And it's insane amounts of money.
Yeah, like a high school football player trying to score against Tom Brady, a streamer trying to outrun...
Noah Lyles, the fastest man alive.
It's crazy.
But it's that contrast, that David versus Goliath dynamic that makes it so compelling.
All right, so you're saying it's it's tapping into our love for the underdog.
Absolutely. We're wired to root for the underdog, the one who's defying the odds.
Yeah.
It's a universal human fascination.
It's true. I found myself getting super invested in these challengers, even though logically I knew...
The chances were slim.
Yeah, slim to none. Like Big Justice, the little leaguer, going up against Bryce Harper in a home run derby.
That kid had heart.
He did. But come on, Bryce Harper. It seemed impossible.
And MrBeast makes sure to emphasize that impossibility.
Yeah.
He's constantly highlighting the statistical differences, the skill gaps.
So it makes those small victories...
feel massive.
Yeah. When Big Justice hit those final home runs...
Yeah.
Man, it was electric.
Pure joy.
Okay, but let's talk about the handicaps. I mean, on one hand, you have these incredible athletes at the top of their game. And on the other, you've got...
lambs to the slaughter.
Well... Yeah, kind of. But then MrBeast throws in these handicaps that supposedly level the playing field.
Right. Remember Jonah versus Noah Lyles?
Yeah.
Jonah gets this massive head start.
60 meters.
60 meters.
But each 10 meters costs him $10,000 from his potential prize. It's like this strategic gamble. Do you risk losing some money for a chance to,
to beat the fastest man alive.
Exactly. I was trying to do the math in my head, is he making the right choice?
And that's what's so brilliant. It's not just about the outcome. It's about the process. It's about the strategy.
It makes you think, what would I do in that situation?
And that's just the surface. These challenges, they speak to something deeper.
Deeper? What do you mean?
Think about it. The desire to push our limits, to test ourselves against the impossible. It's a fundamental human drive.
Yeah. I never thought of it like that, but seeing these average people step outside their comfort zones, it is inspiring.
Right. And even when they lose.
The money goes to charity. It's there's no real losers.
Exactly. It adds a whole layer of meaning to it all.
Okay, so we've got the underdog story, the clever use of handicaps, the charity aspect.
But let's be real.
The Ronaldo challenge.
$1 million. Just to beat Ronaldo in a target shooting contest.
I mean, come on, that's the main event.
It's like the climax of the whole video. You've got this seemingly ordinary guy, Khalid,
a Ronaldo super fan,
going up against his idol. The tension is palpable.
Even knowing the outcome, I was on the edge of my seat.
That's MrBeast's storytelling genius at work. Building suspense, playing with expectations.
Okay, but hold on. Doesn't this whole underdog thing feel, I don't know, a little manipulative? Is he playing on our emotions for views?
That's a valid point. I mean, he's definitely crafting a narrative.
But the challengers are real people. They're not actors.
Right. And their reactions, their emotions, those are genuine.
Okay, so maybe it's a mix of both.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Manufactured drama combined with real human experience.
All right, so we've talked about the overall structure and themes, but let's dive into some of the specific challenges.
Okay, sounds good.
First, though, we've got to talk about MrBeast's editing. He's a master of pacing, keeping the energy high.
And the audience hooked.
Yeah. Those quick cuts, the dramatic music.
And the slow motion replays.
Yeah, it's all very cinematic.
And then there's the humor.
Oh, yeah. During the golf challenge with Bryson DeChambeau.
Aaron, the amateur golfer, almost gets a hole-in-one.
And then, bam, an ad for fantasy sports.
It's jarring but hilarious.
It's oh, right, this is still a YouTube video.
But even with the ads, he keeps you engaged.
He's really good at playing with your expectations.
It's a formula, and it works.
Okay, so specific challenges. We already touched on Big Justice versus Bryce Harper and Jonah versus Noah Lyles. What else stands out?
The football challenge. Tom Brady?
Oh, yeah. And Jake, the high schooler, I still can't believe he beat Brady.
Even with the handicap.
It was like watching a movie.
And that's intentional. MrBeast is a visual storyteller, camera angles, lighting.
And those close-ups on the challengers' faces.
Raw emotion. You can feel their anxiety, their determination.
Like when Khalid realized he'd beaten Ronaldo.
Pure disbelief.
Okay, so in this first part of our deep dive, we've talked about the structure, the underdog narrative, the handicaps, the editing, the drama.
And the humor.
We've only just scratched the surface, though.
Yeah, in part 2, we're going to go deeper on that Ronaldo challenge.
We'll talk about the psychology of fandom and how that might have played a role in Khalid's win.
And we'll also get into some of the ethical considerations around these high-stakes competitions.
So stay tuned. It's amazing to me, like, how much thought goes into these challenges.
Oh, yeah.
It can't just be like, random person versus pro athlete, right?
No. There's definitely a strategy behind it.
So, like, what are some of the things that, MrBeast has to consider when he's designing these things?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, the challenge has to be somewhat attainable for the challenger.
Right. It can't be totally impossible.
Exactly. Yeah. If there's absolutely no chance of winning, then the audience just tunes out.
Yeah. What's the point, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, going back to the golf challenge with Bryson DeChambeau.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
He is.
He's known for these incredibly long drives. He's a powerhouse on the PGA Tour.
So pitting him against like an average golfer seems almost cruel.
Right, but then there's the twist.
Then there's the twist.
The twist.
The target is massive.
Oh my gosh, yeah. You could drive a truck through that thing.
So suddenly it's like, okay, maybe this average golfer actually has a shot.
Exactly, and that's what makes it so compelling, right?
And he almost got it.
Oh, I know.
His first shot, almost a hole-in-one.
Talk about a heart-stopping moment.
It really was.
And that's the genius of it. He subverts our expectations, right? We're so used to seeing the pro athlete dominate, but then he throws in these curveballs.
And then there's, of course, the product placements too.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it takes you out of it for a second.
It does, but I mean, it's funny in a way.
It is.
It reminds you that this is still like a business.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
It is, yeah.
It's you have this high stakes competition, but it's still operating within a certain framework.
A capitalist framework.
Exactly. He's entertaining us. He's giving to charity, but he's also
how do I pay the bills?
Got to pay the bills. Exactly.
Right. So, okay, going back to some of these challenges though.
Sure.
We talked about like the Bryson DeChambeau one. We talked about, Big Justice versus Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
Like that one really got to me.
Yeah, me too.
It wasn't just about like, the challenge itself.
That's about his spirit.
Yeah, his attitude.
Totally.
Like this kid was completely outmatched.
Size, experience.
He did everything. But you could see it in his eyes. He truly believed
He did.
that he had a chance.
And then when he started hitting those home runs,
oh man,
the crowd went nuts.
It's amazing.
Like that was a true underdog victory.
It was.
And it felt like it meant so much more than just, the money. I think it speaks to that, to the importance of believing in yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like not letting anyone tell you what you can and can't do.
Right. Yeah.
And then, on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have the Ronaldo challenge.
Oh, yeah.
That's where things get really interesting, right?
Yeah, like the stakes are higher, the tension is palpable.
Definitely.
And the outcome is pretty surprising for a lot of people.
Oh yeah. I mean, who thought that anyone could actually beat Ronaldo?
I know.
One of the greatest athletes of all time.
Yeah.
But the setup was simple but brilliant,
Yeah, it was just a target shooting contest.
Target shooting, first to hit 3 targets, you win.
Yeah, and it seemed like something that Ronaldo would just dominate.
Yeah.
Right?
Precision, focus.
Yeah, I mean, that's his thing.
Exactly.
But Khalid, the challenger, I mean, you could tell he was so nervous at first.
Oh.
He was like really feeling the pressure.
The weight of the moment.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Going up against his idol.
And then they both missed their first shots.
Yeah.
And suddenly it's like,
oh, maybe Ronaldo is human after all.
Yeah.
Maybe he can be beaten.
And then the tension just like went through the roof.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what MrBeast does so well.
Yeah.
He creates these moments of uncertainty.
Yeah.
Where you're just like on the edge of your seat, you're not just watching anymore, you're like completely invested in what's happening.
Yeah. It's like he knows exactly how to push our buttons.
He does. And then just when you think, okay, Ronaldo's going to, pull it together.
Yeah.
Khalid just starts hitting these targets.
It's bam, bam, bam.
Bam, bam, bam. And the crowd is going wild,
Yeah.
They're chanting his name.
It's crazy.
It was like this perfect storm of factors.
Yeah.
Khalid's nerves, they kind of settled.
Yeah.
His focus sharpened. And it was like he tapped into this this hidden reserve of skill.
It's like almost like being in the presence of his idol, the guy who inspired him.
Yeah.
Actually like helped him perform better.
It's funny how that works sometimes, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's intimidating, but it's also like this source of motivation.
Right, exactly. And it makes you wonder like how much of it was, actual skill versus just like
luck.
Yeah, like being in the right place at the right time,
It's a good question. And I don't think there's an easy answer.
Yeah.
But maybe that's part of the magic of it.
Yeah.
There's this element of mystery, of chance.
It's true.
That adds to the drama.
It's a good point. Like even in these, carefully constructed situations,
right,
the unexpected can still happen. And sometimes those are the moments that really stick with us, Man, what a video, huh?
I know, right?
We saw some amazing athletic feats. The tension was crazy.
And of course, Khalid taking home $1 million.
It's hard not to get caught up in the spectacle, but like, what's the takeaway here? What are we left with?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is it really makes you question what's possible,
Yeah, like we tend to put these limits on ourselves.
Exactly. We think, oh, I could never do that. That's only for, the pros, the elite.
But MrBeast is like, hold my beer.
Right. It's like he's saying, hey, maybe you can beat Tom Brady in a balloon popping contest or outrun the fastest man alive, even if it's just for a few seconds.
It's a pretty powerful message, even if it comes packaged in these like crazy challenges.
Absolutely. It's about pushing boundaries, not just physically, but mentally too. Embracing the challenge, even when the odds are stacked against you.
Yeah. And we talked earlier about fandom and how that might have like played a role in Khalid's win over Ronaldo.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about how our admiration for someone can actually fuel our own performance.
It's like Khalid was channeling that energy, using it to like focus his mind, elevate his game.
In a way, he was competing not just against Ronaldo, but against his own self-doubt.
Whoa. Okay, so like what does that mean for us, right? What limits are we putting on ourselves? What dreams have we just like dismissed as impossible without even trying?
That's the question, isn't it? This video, it encourages us to confront those questions. It reminds us that human potential is vast and often untapped.
We might not all be going head to head with Cristiano Ronaldo, but we can all find ways to, challenge ourselves.
Step outside our comfort zones.
Aim for something bigger, something that maybe seems a little scary.
Whether it's learning a new skill or pursuing a creative passion.
Or even just like asking for that raise you deserve.
It's the act of pushing ourselves that's rewarding.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think, like, ultimately that's what this deep dive has shown us about MrBeast, right?
It's not just about the spectacle, the entertainment, the money.
It's about inspiring us,
to believe in ourselves.
To embrace the unexpected.
To recognize that even in failure, there's a chance to learn and grow.
Oh, and we can't forget about the charity aspect either.
Right. Even when the challengers lose, a good cause benefits.
It's like it adds this layer of meaning to it all.
It's a reminder that success isn't just about money. It's about making a positive impact on the world.
Okay, so wrapping things up.
I think this deep dive has shown us that there's a lot more to MrBeast's world than meets the eye.
Yeah, it's not just like mindless entertainment. It's a carefully crafted experience.
That taps into our desire for challenge, connection, meaning.
And even though, we might laugh at some of the absurdity of it all.
There's a powerful message underneath it all. A message about dreaming big, pushing boundaries.
And never underestimating the power of the human spirit.
Well said.
So that's it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.